Hey guys, ANA here. California is one of the best states in the US for coasters and theme parks in general, but there are a few coasters that you should watch out for. This list is made more based on the overall ride experience and not just how rough it was. There are a few coasters that I should mention though that I have not ridden, including the Riddler's Revenge, Viper, and Kong. I chose not to ride these coasters because I didn't want to get brain damage, or it was closed during my visit. Alright, enough said, let's get started with the list. Starting at number 10 is Patriot at California's Great America. First, this B&M Florist conversion tracks fairly well. There are a few bumps along the way, but other than that, for a 32-year-old B&M stand-up that got converted to a Florist, it's pretty good. It is also a fairly enjoyable ride experience with decent forces, but it's on this list for a reason. The transitions are really jerky, so it is possible to get a little headbanging. It's not too bad, but it was worse than any of the other coasters that I have ridden in California. Number 9 is another B&M Florist, Scream at Six Flags Magic Mountain. This ride, unlike Patriot, has good transitions. I didn't experience headbanging, but it does track really badly. It has the nastiest rattle I've experienced on a steel coaster. It is tolerable though, so I can't put it any higher. But I don't know if this was just me, but it felt like in the back row in the farthest seat to the right, my restraint was giving out. That was the scariest moment I've ever experienced on any coaster. Number 8 is Coast Rider. This mock Wild Mouse is tame. It has a tiny bit of airtime on the largest drop and some mild laterals on those hairpin turns. But after an incident relating to the restraint system, the trains were fitted with the worst shin guards known to man. I'm less than 5'9", but they were still fairly uncomfortable. They were digging into my skin the whole way through, and the worst part is you have to experience those laterals while it's pressing against you, digging in your skin even more. Number 7 is Ninja at Six Flags Magic Mountain. This aero suspended coaster surprised me, but not in a good way. Throughout the entire ride, the train was shuffling about, tapping my head against the hard restraints constantly. It also felt like the train was going to snap off the track at any time and I was going to fly into Jetstream's lake. I hope this is the next coaster to bite the dust at Magic Mountain. Number 6 is Jaguar at Knott's Berry Farm. This Zero family coaster has a nasty rattle. It's not as bad as Scream, but why is it higher on this list? Well, that's because of the seating on the trains. It is extremely cramped in there, and the seating is not contoured, so it's completely flat and uncushioned. And when you have a constant vibration flat on your you-know-what, it leaves the lower half of your body feeling like mush after you get off this ride. Number 5 is the infamous Grizzly at California's Great America. It was originally built by King's Entertainment when they owned the park in 1986. But the only good thing that is to come out of CGA closing is that this coaster won't exist anymore. This ride isn't too rough, it's just barely tolerable. But the worst part is that it just does nothing. It's so unbelievably useless. This could be a family coaster if it wasn't rough. Number 4 is Boomerang at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. This Vekoma boomerang should not be allowed to exist. It pulled forces I had never experienced before. That would usually be good, but it felt like I was being shoved forward into my gut. And it didn't help that my head was being bashed into the hard shoulder restraints. It also had some bad jackhammering in the valleys. This was my first boomerang credit, and I am not excited to ride anymore. Starting off the top 3 is Giant Dipper at the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Now, I know this ride is extremely historic and means a lot to some people, but this is a glorious pile of wooden garbage. Yes, I got airtime, but it was jackhammering airtime. The best way to describe it is, it's like you're being jackhammered into the air. It's very uncomfortable. But the worst part is the jackhammering in every single valley. This is not the worst in California though, but I will get to that. Trust me. Number 2 is Demon. This aero looper is the jerkiest ride in California. This coaster was designed and built without computers and has no heart lining. The track was bent by hand. This created a literal, well, demon of a coaster. Just like with Boomerang, it feels like you're being shoved forward into your gut, and that transition into the first corkscrew is the worst transition on any coaster I've ridden. The worst coaster in California is the famous Giant Dipper at Belmont Park, not Santa Cruz. This coaster has a similar layout, a similar setting, and similar trains, and is just as historical, but it is leagues worse. This glorified dumpster fire of a coaster has double the jackhammering of the original Giant Dipper. It felt like my brain was being mashed into a smoothie machine. The jackhammering airtime was unrelenting. Every valley violently hammers you up and down. And don't even get me started on the first drop. I had the displeasure of riding in the back row and you get yanked down it. The profiling should be illegal. But the valley after the first drop is the worst element on any coaster probably in the world. I was left with a single brain cell after riding this. The worst headache of my entire life. I hope this horrendous hunk of junk finds itself in the scrapyard. But you think I'm done trashing this ride? Well, I'm just getting started. This ride is so old that the braking system in the station failed. So after I thought the torture was over, we flew past the station and stopped at the base of the lift hill. Our staff member then asked everyone on the train if we wanted to go for a second round, and me and my dad were the only ones who voted no. So we went through all that jackhammering goodness a gosh darn second time. This ride kills off so many brain cells, it brainwashes people into thinking they actually enjoyed the ride. You come off Giant Dipper with permanent brain damage. Jeez, I went off a little there, sorry. I just hate that coaster so much. Anyways, that is my personal top 10 worst coasters in California. Thank you for watching the whole way through, that means a lot to me. I'll see you guys in the next video.